Hey, Lightworkers. So today I wanted to talk about the power in taking small steps, just small little steps. And I know we all understand the value in small steps, right? It's more about consistency and we just keep putting one foot in front of the other. We just keep going. But we don't always have the patience for all those small steps. I know sometimes I feel like I might even jump in too soon. I want to take the big steps. I want to make it happen fast. And then it doesn't work out because sometimes those big steps are just too big, so I can't attain it. So I give up. Okay, so I give up. And I was kind of feeling the pressure of this last week, and I was kind of down, and I came across this article by Charles Fillmore from 1918. Charles Fillmore is one of the founders of the Unity movement. And this article was on the metaphysics of the I am. And so it was really good to read this article. And he just talked about how this I am presence is within us. It works through us, for us, as us. We call it infinite intelligence, source energy. You know, you might call it God, the universe, love, light, life with a capital L. And so this is what's at work within us all of the time, every day. You could also say that it is a holy trinity, that it's infinite intelligence, it is expression of this infinite intelligence or the activity. And then it is the manifestation of that infinite intelligence. So there's something seeking to express through us all the time, and it is this holy trinity, right? We receive a divine idea, then we make choices and take actions based on that, on supporting that idea, and then we have an outcome. And so this is how Source is always working through us. And it's our whole reason for being on this planet, to express ourselves as the powerful creators that we came here to be. And when I say creator, I'm not just talking about art, painting, writing. Our whole life is a work of art. Our art is that we're creating our experiences. So it's everything we do to create this life of ours. It's not so much about what we're doing, but how we do what we do, no matter what is happening in our life. Creating our experience means we're choosing how we show up to our life in all of its glory and chaos. Again, it's not what we do, it's how we do what we do. For example, most of us will be doing laundry at some point this week. Most of us will. How do we show up even to do something as simple as the laundry? Now, I've had days where I get up and I'm just like, man, I got like 10 loads of laundry to do today. I'm going to be stuck here all day. It's not my favorite thing to do. I'm not a big fan of having to fold and put laundry away. But I could also look at it as, okay, today is a day I'm doing laundry. I do laundry for 3 people. I'll be home all day. So what can I do while I'm home? I got to do it. It's got to be done. And yay, I'll have clean clothes. And yay, I don't have to go sit for a few hours in a laundromat. And yay, I don't have to beat my clothes clean with a rock down at the river. Okay? So it's not what we're doing. All week long, we're going to have regular mundane things to do. Not everything is going to be all fireworks and sparkles, right? Some of the stuff is just running a household. Now, we can end up feeling stuck in our lives. We can feel lost. We can feel like there are conditions of our life that are controlling us. Okay, for example, we may have health issues. Last week having a sore back, my back was just out. And I really felt that. I was like, I can't do this because my back hurts. Will I ever be able to do this again because my back hurts? Okay, no, it's not health for everybody. For some of us, maybe it's finances. Right? I've spent so much money this year. I didn't save anything and dang it, and I can't do anything about it now. Maybe you feel like you just don't get great ideas. Like other people get great ideas, but you don't. I feel like that sometimes. Or like we don't have enough time. Either, maybe I wasted too much time. I don't have the time. I'm I'm too old. How do I accomplish this in this amount of time? Or maybe it's I have a full-time job. How am I supposed to do anything after working this full-time job? And so all of us can feel some burnout. We can feel like we want to give up. And like, what's the point? Okay, so back to my week. I was reading this article on the metaphysics of the I am. And Charles Fillmore says a couple of things in this article. First, he says, we must recognize the I am presence is within us. He says that the I am, we say I am peace, I am power. Peace and power are what are at work in us. It's not going to come from outside of us, right? If we want to experience inner peace, we have to create the inner peace, because life is not going to rearrange itself to give us the peace that we want, right? So we're going to something within us. We're aligning with something within us. He says, and this recognition must be cultivated. Cultivated, right? So I'm reading this and I'm like, yeah, I know all this stuff. But then he gets to this part and I'm like, oh yeah, I have to remind myself of this, right? Cultivate. I have to cultivate this within myself. For grins, I looked up the definition of cultivate, and it is to foster growth. Like you might foster growth in a garden. You may decide to plant a garden, and so you would tend to that garden. You would consciously, with thought, with care, decide what seeds you want to plant. You'd get out there and weed, water, and just tend your garden every day. You wouldn't look at a big patch of land in your backyard and throw a couple of old boots and an old tire and hope for the best and think, yeah, I'm going to get a beautiful garden. That's not cultivating. You would consciously choose what you plant in this garden. Now, in this case, Charles Fillmore was talking about cultivating our growth in consciousness, tending with care the seeds of thought we are planting in our subconscious mind, because it is these seeds of thought that lead to our way of thinking and acting. Our way of thinking and acting creates our experience, right? So if we plant the seed of thought, life is hard. Life is so hard and life is so unfair. Okay, we plant those seeds, but then, a science-y thing happens and our brain and its reticular activating system seek to show us how true this is. So if we feel life is hard, life is unfair, our brain taking these seeds now, saying, yes, you're right. I'm going to show you how hard life is. I'm going to show you, look at all the ways life is so unfair. That leads to our way of thinking and acting. So we don't act on opportunities. Life's too hard. Life's too fair. Why would that work out for me? That creates our experiences then. Man, nothing works out for me. But if we plant the seeds of, everything just seems to work out for me. The universe has my back. That leads to our way of thinking and acting, because our brain and its remarkable reticular activating system is saying, yes, I will show you why things always work out for you. This is how the universe has your back, and it leads to our way of thinking and acting. Okay, then I think I'll try this thing, and I don't know how it might come together, but there's that within me that knows what to do and how to do it, and it compels me to act on what it knows. It creates our experience, which is that we have a different kind of outcome. Now, back to small steps. Small steps. There are 3 things that we can do to cultivate our consciousness, to foster and tend growth in our consciousness. And for this video, consciousness, I'm defining consciousness as Unity defines it, which is the phase of mind in which we are actively aware of our thoughts. Now, this is pretty much could sum up the teachings of the Buddha and Yeshua the Christ. They were talking about aligning with our true nature, to harmonize our thoughts with the infinite within. so that we could experience inner peace. This is how we rise above the illusion. When we can experience peace within, then we're consciously creating our experience from a different perspective. Now, this was real important back then. It's important now. But it was also important back then because people back in the time of the Buddha and the time of the Christ, and all before that and after, like those people didn't have the available options and choices that we have. They were stuck in probably a caste system. There couldn't be somebody born to a farmer who decided, I just want to go off and become a poet, right? Or a doctor. Most of the time, people were born into what they would do for the rest of their lives. But they could change their way of thinking and acting around it, and they could show up differently. They could change how they do what they do. They could do what they had to do every day with a loving and open heart, with peace in their heart. All right, so this is the power of cultivating our consciousness. So last week when I was feeling very fussy, it started off that I was very unaware. I was not paying attention to the fact that I was saying things to myself like, this isn't fair. You're never going to be able to move forward on this. Why do you always make these stupid choices, right? But then as I was reading this article, then I became aware. So I went from the consciousness of life happens to me, this isn't fair, that's victim consciousness. And I could remind myself, okay, wait, this is all on me. I'm the one that makes choices. This is on me. And I could move into life happens as me consciousness, right? I make my choices. I get to decide how I am showing up to my life. Now, one of my favorite Bible verses is from the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. The ancient people believed we did all of our thinking from the heart. It was the heart that held the wisdom of the world, and it was a doorway to spiritual understanding and creativity. The Buddhist tradition teaches the hidden treasure of the heart, that it is a vast universe in itself. Now we know quantum physics is pretty much teaching that this is, or showing that this is true in the science. The heart has its own intelligence, and our brain even has to listen to the heart. So we're given this directive to guard our hearts because we have an option. We can act out of sync with our divine nature, and we can start feeling miserable, and we end up on autopilot, and we're completely unaware of our thoughts, and we're completely unaware that we have this program running that says life's not fair, everything is so hard. And then we end up doing the same thing day after day. Day after day looks the same, feels the same. We don't feel fulfillment in our heart. Instead, we just feel hopelessness. We slip into what the Buddha called the illusion. And the illusion is when we believe, I am not good enough. Life is hard. I'll never get this. Why can't I have the things I dream of? Right? That's the illusion. So we want to pay attention to our inner conversations, so we know if we're in sync with our heart or not. And you can pretty much guess that, or say that if you're feeling pretty happy, content, your inner conversations are probably supporting you. But if you're feeling great loss and hopelessness, it may be that your inner conversations are not supporting you. Our inner conversations shape our experience. Okay, they do. So here's one small thing, one small step we can take, and that is to pay attention to those inner conversations, right? Ask yourself, am I feeling crappy right now? Well, then I'm probably saying crappy things to myself. Am I feeling content? All right, I probably got it, okay? Another small thing that we can do then is we notice our inner conversations, And if we're saying mean things to ourselves, we stop saying the things that disempower us, right? That's the next thing we can do. Stop saying such mean things to ourselves. And then the third thing we can do is then we speak words of power. We encourage ourselves. I always start off with, I'm okay, right? Because I might be having a day. It's like, okay, wait, I'm okay. I'm okay right here and now. I'm okay. And then we can go on to things like, okay, I'm all right. I'm okay. I got this. I got this. The universe has my back. The universe has my back. I am created in the image and likeness of our Creator, after all, right? So I am designed to be, I'm designed to have new ideas. You know, I'm designed to listen and act on faith. I'm designed to be inspired, and my inspirations, my ideas, they always bring with them the means to make them so. All I have to do is just listen and act. Now, just these three things, just starting with these three things, listen to our inner conversations, stop saying mean things to ourselves, speak words of encouragement, little by little, they make powerful changes in our way of thinking and acting. So we truly can make our life a work of art, be deep into the beauty of creating in our life, of creating wonderful, nurturing, supportive relationships, creating fulfilling work, and having fulfilling playtime, feeling joy in our lives. So here's our call to action. Our affirmation is a reminder. My inner conversations shape my life. I got this from Neville Goddard, right? Let's say it together 3 times. My inner conversations shape my life. My inner conversations shape my life. My inner conversations shape my life. Now, these are 3 practices. And of course, what will make these successful practices is that we actually put in the effort. Getting better at anything is about putting in the time and the effort. And eventually, the small things will lead to big things, right? Eventually. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's more likely to happen than if we decided, well, no, I can only take this big step and it has to happen instantaneously. And oh, darn, it was too hard. I give up. Well, for sure, we're not moving forward. For sure, then. Okay, so we can, though, experiment with taking the small steps and see where we are in a week. See where we are in 30 days, 3 months, a year. Right? So, paying attention to our inner conversations, stop saying the mean things to ourselves, speak only things that encourage ourselves. These all build on each other. These all build on each other. And after a while, like we're putting in some pretty good distance. We're knocking over some big obstacles. We're creating some exciting things. And so my invitation for this week is, first of all, and this is for all of us, myself too, recognize if you are feeling hopeless. Recognize that. Does it feel like you've dug yourself into a deep hole you can't get out of? Right? And of course, I will say, if you're feeling that, it's always a powerful move to call a professional to get some help, right? We don't have to do this on our own. Sometimes we do need some professional help. Okay? Now, if you think that you can handle, if you think you can be okay, then the next thing we can ask is, what is one small thing I can do right now? Just one small thing. What's one small thing I can do right now? Right? Taking one step at a time. One step at a time. It's a process, and it is a practice. And I will let you in on a secret. When I was about, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years old, somewhere in there, I decided to learn to walk, and I wasn't so good at it. I fell down all the time. But now here I am, a grown adult woman, and I can walk and chew gum at the same time. I've had a lot of practice. Right? There are a lot of things in my life that I did not used to be any good at. Right? Any good at. But Some things I put a lot of effort into and I got pretty good. Some things I put a little bit of effort into and it was passable, right? It was passable. Okay. But the point is, we have all of us been not great at something when we first started. But then with practice, we got better and better. So it's the small steps that we put in. It is the effort that we take and the consistency. And we do this over and over again. And this is how we are creating heaven on earth. So until next time, remember, you are divinely designed to be doing all of this, and everything you do, you are blessed. Remember, you are a one-time, one-of-a-kind cosmic creation. All right, so we will see you next time. Have a great day and take care.